The whole point of this genre is to humiliate the woman who's the boss. And honestly, the last video I made, TikTok screwed it up. It published the wrong version of that. I made all these edits because the ending is the whole point of this. The ending is the point, and TikTok left it off. So let me show y'all why I made that whole video. They took this woman who is so good at her job and was the boss, a woman who was dealing with a bunch of incompetent men at work, holding them accountable, calling them on their crap. And when they tried to humiliate her for her relationship status, she gave it right back to them, right? Like, she was a boss, you know, and as much as I don't like bosses who are like that, this is how men are all the time. And a woman in corporate, on some level, has to be that way. But the whole point of this movie was to show her vulnerable side, because a woman can't possibly be like this, you know, confident, successful, and all the things that gives us money, right? Because the key to women's liberation and all liberation is access to money, not in a capitalism kind of way, but like, if you can't pay your bills and you're dependent on someone else, you can't be free. So this woman doesn't need a man. So of course, the whole story is about her not only having to get a man because she's an older woman and she's going to be a cat lady, but the man that they're going to give her is somebody who works beneath her. A bumbling fool who looks like this a lot of the time. He's just so funny. We're just supposed to relate to him so much about how difficult Sandra Bullock's character is. God, she's so difficult. So difficult that he calls her a witch behind her back to everybody. And it's here. Like, this man hates her. He tries to humiliate her behind her back all the time and undermine her. And now we're supposed to believe a love story between him and her? Fuck off. Why can't she be with a man who is, you know, her equal? Why do they have to put her with a guy who's beneath her? A guy who sleeps with this, like, monkey thing and wants to be her. That's literally the whole point, is he wants to be her. And that's exactly like Ryan Reynolds' dating pattern. Date amazing women who have what you want and then become that woman and then humble her. Sorry. That's what Hugh Jackman did. That's what a lot of men do. Find a woman who's amazing because you're jealous of her, and then keep her at home with a bunch of babies. Again, if Blake Lively wants that life, good for her. I'm not fully convinced that that's all she wants in life when her husband is so busy. Who is going to take care of these kids? And he's gone all the time buying football, a football team he didn't even tell her about. He bought it without telling her and then joked about not telling her about it and how she was mad. Like, I would do a whole separate video on how much this dude seems to suck when it comes to like how they talk to each other in public, but that's another video. This is The Proposal, the worst movie I've seen in a while. But back to my point. This woman who works really hard, right? They make fun of how hard she works. God, she just works so much. Oh, she must be so lonely. She's just too good at her job. Let's create a fake immigration crisis situation where she has to get married in order to do her job, and then have her marry a dude who actively hates her and talks crap about her behind her back. A guy who has less power than her. And now because of this situation, he's going to have more power than her. Wouldn't that be nice? By the way, the fact that a man wrote this says everything. I am not against rom-coms, but I'm against rom-coms written by men. I'm so tired of The Notebook. If you haven't seen my whole series of The Notebook, it's in the playlist. That movie was written by a man, and it is the worst love story of all time. And it's so toxic. And again, it is about women accepting less, dating down, so that a loser can feel good about himself. So between humiliating her in public by making her propose to him in the streets of New York and reminding her that he has the power now, Bert. I know that the whole story is that she like tried to make him marry her, blah, blah, blah. But like a man wrote this woman. Men do not understand women. They don't know women. They don't even see us as human beings. You really think that they're going to write a fully fleshed out character? No. He was just like, what would a man do in this situation? Oh, I know. Like, whatever. Anyway, I can always tell immediately when a movie with a female lead is written by a man, which is why I hate most movies written by men. Because I end up hating the woman. And I'm like, why do I hate her? It's because a man wrote her. And we should be concerned about the fact that these movies, these rom-coms, not all of them, but most of them seem to be written by men. They're funded by men. They're produced by men. And, oftentimes written and directed by men. But who's the target demographic? 63% of the exit poll said it was female viewers. 78% were 18 or older. So you got to get them, young. 71% were classified as couple. So that's like a woman who like dragged her husband to come, or your boyfriend to come watch this thing. But no men are going and watching this on their own, or most straight men are not. So Hollywood makes a killing off of writing movies about women for women that are terrible for women. So whether they have this ruthless businesswoman chasing after a dog being carried by an eagle, and then when she finally gets the dog, she actually wants the eagle to take the dog now because, I don't know, he took her phone or so. Whatever. I was so not interested in this movie. It was really hard to pay attention. But the whole point of this scene was that, she got the dog back, but she's really just a heartless bitch. This whole Taming of the Shrew 2009 edition or whatever. So between Ryan boy here peeking at her when she's in her lingerie and like that being totally fine, to like him humiliating her regularly in front of the whole family, to grandma and his mother taking her to get a striptease from Oscar from The Office while wearing the veil thing. She was so uncomfortable during all this, but it's just so funny to watch, right? Humiliation of a boss woman. Screw those boss babes. And his family's just getting a kick out of this. It's so funny, him stripping, while she just has to sit there and take it. We've got the pretty ex-girlfriend who's a constant threat, just in case that she was, starting to think this is a terrible idea. We got this girl to keep her in check, being like, yeah, but you're not young. You're not a sweet, young, blonde woman like me. You're an old cat lady. You better be grateful that, God, there's always got to be competition. Be grateful that this man even wants you, girl. And this woman who doesn't need a man, but secretly really wishes one would save her. They put her in this dress. What? This is her wedding dress. Like, what is this? Your tablecloth? Oh, and just to humiliate you a little more, the guy who did the striptease, we're going to make him be the one who marries you. Isn't that fun? And remember, every woman is really just waiting for a man to save her. She's not supposed to save herself. She needs a man to save her from herself. And who better to do that than the bumbling fool who works for her, who wants to be her, who literally drives the boat so fast that she falls out of it and he doesn't even notice that she falls out until she's like drowning. All so that we can get this shot right here. Come on, give me your hand. This is such a perfect metaphor. He's driving the boat. He drives it too fast. She falls out of the boat because of him. He doesn't notice. And then he's like, oh no, she's drowning. And then he's like, why won't you let me save you? And then we get this shot right here. The successful, self-reliant woman who doesn't need saving is now the damsel in distress. I swear, it doesn't surprise me that this is a Disney movie. Disney has turned the crap that I grew up on into this. And now back to the scene that says everything. And actually seems a lot like how he talks to his current wife. So he comes in, try to win her over because she called off the engagement or the wedding or whatever, and was like, I can't live a lie, never mind. And he's like, no, 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 no. So he goes to the workplace in front of all of the people that report to her that she's the boss of, in front of all of them who, remember, hate her. And he's the ringleader of all of them that hate her. Now he's like in love with her and does a speech. 3 days ago, I loathed you. 3 days. I'm supposed to believe that he went from hating her to loving her? No, he just wants to be here. So I loathed you and used to dream about you getting hit by a cab or poisoned. So part of his proposal, because this is him proposing that they get married and saying how much he loves her. He starts off saying, I wish you were dead, but I've come around. You're not so bad. Let's get married. They want us. They are normalizing women settling for losers who hate us. Do you know how we've all realized that in general, most men who date women don't even like us and they actively hate us a lot of times? Here we go. He then tells her, I told you to stop talking. When she's like, wow, that was really nice what you said. So in front of all of the people who report to her, he tells her to shut up, talks about an intimate scene together when they were both nude and she was checking him out. Because that's appropriate to talk about in front of all of the people who work for her. Blah, blah, blah. Then when she was like, no. She was like, no. And then he's like, don't you understand? I love you because I just really want a wife. Gets her to cry in front of all the people who work for her. Remember, when men date their secretaries, fine. When women date people, anyone at work, it's a career ender. And they get her to say in front of everyone, I'm scared, and cry. So then he gets this moment, which is our happy ending. And the women are so happy. And you know what the men say? Yeah, show her who's boss, Andrew. And that was the point of this story. Stop letting men write our story.